a little strange to me. And Quake is there, which is not useful. Skele making his long trip to the right side of Ice Palace. Meanwhile, Beer going back in Swamp. Very feels bad moment. Unless he manages to find something, which is still an option. But one of the items might be a small key. I didn't totally count the dungeon items. I believe he's missing at least that. Oh, he got this. Okay, I was wrong. I can't count or read, so forgive me. Making doubly sure to hit that switch, just in case we didn't open the chest before. But we did. So. The flute on left side swamp, it's technically something. It's possible that we do not see that activated, but it might be done. We don't really need a flute for anything with our ability to clip everywhere, as we've already seen with both runners in the Maya area earlier. We did not need the flute for that. It's a little slow to activate it, especially once you get it this late, but if you plan on using it a few times, it can be worth it. And since we're doing Smith Chain, probably, then it might be worth it. Beer is going to be unable to do the Smith Chain without some kind of annoying glitches. A lot of people don't even bother learning the glitches to do Smith Chain without the mitts. That's never in logic to do them without the mitts. And it's so very rarely useful that you find something on Smith Chain. It's kind of a shame that it's happened twice in a row in this series, but Beer also has to go the clip route up to Village of Outcasts because of not having the mitts to pick up the rock, although I'm not totally sure why he's here. Perhaps he's planning on doing Thieves' Big Chest. I think that's the only thing left in the Dark World in this area. He had the option of just mirroring and coming up normally. Looks like Skelly's going back to Pod and Eastern. Finish off those dungeons. It's a good idea. Okay, Bear just came up here. For fun, maybe. Clipping because he could. He may go back to the portal. It's too early to say that he's not doing thieves or something like that. Ending in the mushroom is actually kind of a bad sign for Beer. One of the kind of annoying things for him right now is that magic pad is necessary, and that requires an Eastern dip. Although it's possible that he's going to find the bow, or find a different bow that is still a second bow. So he's not totally out of it. but his options are kind of dwindling. I think he's actually doing the Smith chain right now with this Persian. He might be doing a method of getting to the Smiths using overworld YBA, which is going to look very weird, and I'm not going to be able to explain it because I don't understand everything that an overworld YBA does, but he's going to get the Smiths without the mids, and then hopefully also do the purple chest. That did not look like a successful YBA, unfortunately. So I guess he's not grabbing the Smiths, which is a little unpleasant. The bow is not behind the powder, but the bow is on magic. The bow is on purple chest rather, which you would do. You would do the Smith chain with magic bat, ideally. So it's kind of unfortunate for him that he is going to have to probably double dip one area, which is why he really wants this to pay out, because if he gets the bow, then that will push him towards getting the powder, which he will need for bombers. And we haven't actually seen, we did see Ice Palace, which had a handful of checks behind bombers, but we didn't go into Maya. We saw Swamp from Beer, even though it was bombers locked and he doesn't have the bombers. He is, oh no, he isn't quite getting it. That's a little unfortunate. That would have been such a big play for him if it had worked. Meanwhile, Helm's got down. No item here. I believe there's one on armors, so he will be getting one item for his troubles here. If we don't find something here, we're kind of running into the same problem again, where there's not many places to go to look for progression. Maya is kind of the last remaining place. There's also some annoying checks like Mimic Cave, which we might see before Maya from Skele, since he hasn't done the middle of Tuffle Rock yet, unlike Beer. It's actually potentially not very good for Beer to get the mids. I don't know if that's what he's about to be doing. Okay, he's just going into ice without the mids. It's kind of funny that he's doing the mids locked checks instead of going to the in logic place, which has his mids. But this is going to be a mirror rep, which will be his method of getting into Ice Palace. Although he's not going to be beating Ice Palace like Skele was, since he doesn't have bombers. So this is going to be quite a big time sink for him. He has very little in terms of items that make Ice Palace good. This is the mirror wrap. It looks a little funky. There is a hard lock risk. Measures it fine. Now he's in Ice Palace. Almost for Skele. It's actually a little interesting. He does not find a bow here, which means there is an accessible bow somewhere else without the Eastern dip. But as to what that is, it's still up in the air. There's quite a few places for it to be, but we have to find something somewhere, which we are still not doing. See where he goes. This is the Dark World. It could mean Maya. I'm not sure what else it could mean. Perhaps a first chest of swamp check? Perhaps not. We actually saw Beer buy a bomb capacity upgrade, which is going to be useful. He's going to be using a lot of bombs in this clear. Yeah, Skele making a Maya dip. There's not a pretty high chance of finding something here, given the limited number of locations that are currently in Logic. It's kind of here or Mimic Cave, I think. But we will see. There's plenty of room for me to be wrong. I very frequently am. Skele cleaning up Lammer. Presumably having the mirror and doing it like this is why he chose not to do it earlier. Nice fight from Skele. Using the Ice Rod is something that I find to be very annoying. Fights like this, so. This is also nice to do before Maya for the health refill, to get beams. So Beer is going to be kind of done in ice relatively soon, since he won't have the ability to beat the dungeon. We'll see what he chooses to do after that. Hopefully for his sake it's something like getting his myths, or going back and trying to do the smiths without them. He could also go to Easton, which is kind of good, maybe. We'll see. The Smith's bow is basically not strictly necessary, given that the other bow is not behind it, so he may be able to skip the myths entirely. First item in Maya, not useful. If it's something like Mimic Cave, then I think it's fair to say that this seed sucks a lot. In case there was any confusion about whether that was the case. Oh, Bear actually has Zora to do. He skipped out on doing Zora and the ledge earlier. Oh no, the swimming. You hate to see it. Oh no, Skele. Pushing all the blocks. This is unnecessary. You have enough time to do the torches one by one, but understandably it's a little worrying if you don't know that fact. Where is Beer going? This looks like it might be Pyramid Fairy. Or maybe not. He's going into Hera, which is not how you do Pyramid Fairy. It could be Mimic Cave, which actually might be a huge play, if that's like the cane. Although Skele does not have many places to check that are not Mimic Cave. Alright, we're kinda, I think, down to our last two checks here. Potentially one item in Maya versus Mimic Cave. Oh my god, that's a vanilla cane! That's so funny. The cane does open up quite a lot of checks for us in Total Rock, so I guess we probably expect our Fire Rod to be in Total Rock. The other location that it opens up is Tile Room in GT, which we are definitely hoping is not the Fire Rod. But again, there's so few checks left that no matter where it is, I think Skele will be ending up there pretty soon. It kind of looks like now Beer is finally on his way to Pyramid Fairy. Which is kind of good for him. He's very far behind at this point, though. So it's probably going to take a number of miracles for him to come back. Unless there's some location that I'm not thinking of that could have the Fire Rod that Skele ends up not doing for whatever reason. But I think he's pretty on the way to getting the Fire Rod. The sword was in Mimic Cave, which Beer got as Skele was getting the cane. He was understandably overshadowed. He finally gets his mitts, which is probably not a very nice feeling for him. We'll see if he takes it to Spike Cave. Or to Smith Chain, rather. Nice King's Doom opening from Beer. It was not fast, but it was swag. Skele going back into Mire is a tiny bit concerning. He may be unlocking Swamp, although he should still have the Hera's small key, so I think this is unnecessary, but perhaps he just wants to go to Swamp immediately, in which case this is probably the quickest way to do it. It does give some time for Beer to catch up, but he has a lot of catching up to do. So, we will see. Skele does have a number of options that are not new checks for the Fire Rod. He still has time to give back to Beer, and Beer is on the way to his bow at least. He will single dip Eastern, which is a nice kind of consolation. A very funny big key in the Hera big chest. Skele is doing this swarm trip. He may choose to forego left side, which was 2 items. So he may not do that, but we'll see. He does, of course, have a lead with or without doing swamp, but everything he does that is not finding the fire rod makes a slight inroad for Beer to maybe come back. Beer probably also very upset about the bow and purple chest for the second seed in a row. He's going to Easton and not to Pod, which is kind of good, since we know that Pod is... Actually, Pod is a crystal, so I don't know why he's doing this. He'll be doing Pod and Easton together. It is true that Helmsaw doesn't have an item, so perhaps that's why he's putting it off, but I don't think it makes a huge difference either way. We're getting his powder in here, which is what he needs for bombers. Skele not doing left side first. He's gonna find the picky on Argus. So maybe that will persuade him to come back in, but we'll see. Wow, I'm a little surprised that that worked, but I guess it worked. He gets his pendant and his big key. Beer gets his nothing from Easton, aside from his powder. Skele does go back into Swamp. It makes sense. His cane checks are all pretty bad without the fire rod. Beer still had his portal in front of the Smith house. It's kind of funny. He had to skip that by picking up a bomb. But he is going to get his bombers here, and hopefully go straight into Maya. He may choose to do Ice Palace first, but Maya is where he needs to go. Okay, it is Maya for beer. This is good for him. He's gonna get his cane here, and then perhaps be on equal item footing with Skele, but Skele obviously has many dungeon advantage. Which is gonna be difficult for beer to come over. Skele will get his flute, but I suspect that he will not activate it. He would get very minimal use out of activating the flute, so I would be surprised to see it. He kind of has to choose now between Todorok without the Fire Rod or GT Tower without the Fire Rod, which both kind of suck. He hasn't done the middle of Todorok yet, so there's kind of more checks for him to do there. So I suspect that will be the option. But this is Herod Basement? I did not think this was an item. This would be a very, very awful Fire Rod location. But it would have been in Logic for a while, actually. So it could be Fire Rod here. Could be the other bow, which would be very depressing. This is a check that we do not normally do, even less so than in normal render, because of where we tend to want to use the key is somewhere else in Swamp, even though Skele ended up using the Maya key in Swamp. It's not the Fire Rod. That feels really bad. But he's really narrowing down the number of locations. This looks like he's going to Todorok. It's like maybe skipping cutscene chest, which is something that Skele did, even though it had decent likelihood of being nothing. And it was, so Beer is gonna get his cane quicker. Skele about to do Todorok, one of our last remaining checks. I think possibly one of our only 2 remaining checks. So this probably tells us exactly where the Fire Rod is, even if he doesn't actually get it. Although the answer could be that we find a key and we have to go to Laser Bridge. Which is in logic, given the key layout. Nope, it is the Fire Rod. We're finally in go mode. Skele making sure to do this check here to find the big key, hopefully. He's not going to find it in Roller Room because it's in Chain Jumps. But it would have been very painful if he did not do this check and it ended up being the big key. But yeah, this is go mode. He only has to kill Trinex since he's already killed Agatu. Which means that he should be finished in not very long. It's kind of been a marathon. This is surprisingly quick for what was a complete full clear of the seed, I believe. I guess we didn't do GT Compass Room, but slim pickings. So he's gonna get his big key. He did use his last remaining small key, but there will be a small key on Laser Bridge since there's one left over. So he will be fine to just go straight to Laser Bridge, which is something that we can do with a mirror wrap or a different method that does not involve a mirror wrap, but is generally less favored. So I expect the mirror wrap. Or he's gonna go to the middle. This is fine too. He may not be, he doesn't know for sure that he's not going to get, or that he will get a small key on Laser Bridge, so this makes sense. it was possible for all of them to be in the middle like this. Thought about stealing the key from Pokey 2. It's a little challenging to really know the right way of doing Total Rock in a situation like this because of your options, your many avenues through the dungeon. I'm not completely sure myself what the right thing for him to do was. But he did have the option of going to Laser Bridge first and coming backwards if he did not get a key. I think he knows at this point that there's a key on Laser Bridge though, so doing this is a totally reasonable way of doing it. Meanwhile, Beer cleaning up Ice Palace. It's not going to take him very long, since he was already in here before. But he's still going to have to find his Fire Rod, and he's less incentivized to go to Total, given that he was already in the middle. For some strange reason, he chose not to hover to the compass chest. But it happens. We'll see which way Skele chooses to go to the pyramid as well. He has the option of just coming down past Catfish. Since he's already opened Total Rock, he can just leave through the front. But he might also just save and quit to go to the Link's House portal, for example. It's not a huge difference either way, so really it's kind of up to taste. But in my opinion, the more glitches you do, the better. And we didn't even see the second bow. The second bow was hiding out somewhere in one of the other Fire Rod lock locations. Okay, he's doing the DMD version to get to Pyramid. Never mind, he's unsure of what he's doing. He was fine there. I think he may have been pressing down and not transitioning, but he had the option. He was still within the bounds of a successful clip there. He may not have known and didn't want to risk anything. In general, if you fail a glitch and you're not completely sure of what can go wrong, it's best to save and quit immediately and not risk a hard lock. He's gonna have a pretty complicated fight. He has a lot of health from all the checks that he's done. No silvers, but tempered sword is fine. It kind of does look like Beer is going to Total Rock, so he's about to find his Fire Rod and be in go mode, but he is so many, well, quite a number of dungeons behind, with not just Total Rock, but also Pod left. Not quite the one-on-one for Skele, but it's fine. It's gonna use cane strats here to get a one cycle on the second phase. The very laggy version. He does have red mail, but he has to be a little careful with his health. These pivots will still do 2 hearts. But he's kind of past the most difficult parts of the fight. He should be fine now. Beer is going to get his Fire Rod before Skele finishes, which is kind of it's a small win. It's very demoralizing to not even be in go mode when your opponent finishes, but there it is, the Fire Rod. He already has the big key, so we can go straight to Laser Bridge. Again, fight going well so far for Skele. Getting these spins in. Not many left before he's done. And there it is, the final spin. Get your GGs for Skele, who has navigated his way through this awful seed. And Beer forfeiting upon seeing the done. See if we grab them for an interview. Looks like Beer might not be coming, but hopefully we will grab Skele, the winner of the series. While we're waiting, I can have a quick look at the bracket and see what this means for both Skele and Beer. Skele will be moving on in the winner's bracket to face the winner of Someone 325 for Specky Specs, and Beer will drop down into the loser's bracket to face the winner of Trey Spire vs Holy Smoke. I believe those matches have races today. One of them might be done already, but as for other races today, it looks like there's just the one, which is actually Specs vs Someone. That started half an hour after this one, so it might actually already be done. I can't confirm that one's still going, but it might be. If you wanted something to watch. Skele is on his way. We'll be able to chat with him. In the meantime, do remember to follow both of them. They put on not just one, but 2 races for us. And they suffered the whole way, so hopefully they should at least get some recognition for it. As well as our tracker, Shasta, my apologies, tracked both races as well, so thank you. And we are joined by Skele. GG.
GG, thank you.
I'm sure you might have some choice words about both seeds, actually, but how did you feel about them?
Honestly, for like the first 10 minutes, I was like, did I load the same seed? Because there was a lot of like freakish similarities between the two.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But this one ended up being way worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was really under the impression that game 1 sucked, and then this one just kept throwing stuff at you. We kept thinking for sure that you would go to a place and it was one of your last remaining things, so you would find something, and then you didn't, over and over again.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have any decisions in particular you want to explain, perhaps, but
I don't know. It ended up feeling like eventually I was just choosing like the least bad option of everything I had. Like I had to do so much double dipping
Mhm.
like early in the seed. Like when I got my second crystal, I looked at my timer and it was like an hour and 5 minutes in the race, and I was like, I have only 2 crystals right now. What? Like,
Yeah.
why is this taking so long? But yeah, I mean, eventually, I guess one decision that was a little bit difficult maybe was whether to go independent swamp after Mire or just like hope that it's in Turtle Rock.
Mhm.
I think he probably could play that like either way, but I figured I'm already in Mire, so I'll just do the warp there now.
Yeah, Swamp made a lot of sense. But I'm kind of one of the many bad checks that you had
Yeah,
available.
yeah. Like if Fire Rod's in Turtle Rock and I skip Swamp, then great, I get skip Swamp. But if it's not in Turtle Rock and I have to make a second trip back up there, like both options are pretty terrible. And there was tile room the whole time too. Both tile rooms actually, Hera and GT.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much Beer told you, but you guys were fairly close for a while. It kind of spiraled a little bit out of hand with a couple of decisions. He chose not to do Pyramid Fairy after GT. You had obviously done it earlier with the mirror. He had not done it and then chose not to swim in. And he also didn't go into Eastern after Pod, which had the powder. So he was quite late to Bombers as well. And at that point, he kind of, I think, started doing as many checks as he could do that were not Pyramid Fairy and Eastern, which kind of spiraled pretty badly for him.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I kind of forgot about powder in Eastern. Yeah, actually, after finding, oh god, I'm getting seed bleed now. Hammer was in pod, right? Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, this
Yeah.
is the
Okay.
hammer and bottom.
after after finding hammer and pod, it was, I guess, another sort of difficult decision, like whether to dip Eastern at all after that.
Yeah,
Because hammer opened up quite a bit, and Eastern sucks if you can't finish it. But I knew I definitely wanted to do Sahas because I hadn't done that yet. So I figured I have to mirror twice from pod to go to Sahas anyway. I might as well just dip Eastern.
yeah, that makes sense. The hammer is such a weird thing because it does open a lot, but it didn't really give you any crystals to do. And same with the flippers, it's like, cool, I can go to Swamp, maybe,
Right.
except it's a pendant and locked by Maya. And you managed to have the exact same awful bow in both seeds, which must have
That
felt
was
really, really good. And somehow you didn't even find the other bow in this seed. You did like the entire game and didn't get the second bow.
Yeah, at least I tempered this time. That was
Yeah,
a nice improvement over the first seed.
yeah, for sure. Beer actually managed to get the gold sword, which was in Mimic Cave, which was one of the last remaining checks for Fire Rod, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to do next after checking Compass Chest to Rock. I mean, there really wasn't hardly anything left after that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess with this you move on in the winners bracket. How are you feeling so far about the tournament?
Pretty good. I guess, I think this has been like some of the most fun I've had playing the game in recent memory, to be honest, because I'm pretty new to glitched modes. I mean, I've been playing like regular rando for a long time, but I only started learning HMG specifically like when this tournament was announced, so I'm pretty happy with how things are going, but I think sooner or later something I'm going to do something really stupid and it's going to spiral out of control. But
I
yeah, I
would
mean,
not have guessed that you were so new. You've been doing quite well.
yeah, I think luck has been on my side a little bit too. I tend to like either I make some kind of catastrophic mistake playing modes like this, or everything goes perfectly fine. It's like there's nothing in between.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's something that even experienced glitch runners experience. So don't worry, it doesn't go away. That might do it for us there. I guess if you have any final words or anything you want to say, this is the time.
Thanks as always for the restream. Thanks for the comms, Tam. Thanks for tracking Shasta. Thanks for to everybody running the tournament. It's been a blast, and I am looking forward to playing and watching more.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess this is it for us. If you want to watch more HMG, there's a race on SpeedGaming 6, I believe it was. That's most of the way through, so you're in time to catch the end. I'm not sure what else there might be on the SpeedGaming network, but I'm sure you can find something to watch if you want. So thanks for watching, everybody.